Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Chip's Cabinet, where we take what we have and see what we can do with it. This project is going to start off a little differently. I've decided to make a vegetarian dish and came up with a quiche idea. I had to start this dish a couple days ago because of the ingredients, and they had to sit for a couple days. So I don't have the ingredients to display for you in can form like I usually do to start my videos, but I do have them written down, and this is what I would use. Now you can use pretty much any vegetables that you have that you want to put into this quiche, but this is what I happen to have in my cabinet. So I added 15 ounces of pigeon peas in coconut milk, whatever those are, 15 ounces of diced tomatoes, 15 ounces of butter beans, 15 ounces of mixed veggies, 2 tablespoons of rosemary dried, 1 tablespoon of oregano dried, 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. I mixed that in with the mixture of the vegetables, which I'll show you in a moment. 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. Actually, I just said that, didn't I? We're going to do 2 shallots. We're going to chop them and saute them. We're also going to saute an additional 3 cloves of garlic. We're going to add that to the mixture prior to putting this into the oven. I also have a green onion, about a cup, that I'm going to chop up. I'm going to add that to a garnish on top of the quiche when it's done for color and some fresh flavor and pop. I don't recall exactly what a shallot is, but a friend of mine told me the other day it's sort of like a soft onion. Now, from experience just now, I can tell you when I cut up the shallot, it didn't burn my eyes like onions usually do. So, okay, a soft onion. 2 cups of shredded Colby Jack. You can really use any shredded cheese you want to fill the pie. I did have to pick up 2 frozen pie crusts. I picked that up at a local big box store. Frozen 9.5-inch pie crust with the pan because I don't have any pie pans. I blended in 2 eggs with the mixture of vegetables. Going to add 1/3 cup of feta, and I'm going to add 1/2 cup of coconut milk for a little sweetness in the pie. Be right back. So here are the last of the ingredients that I'm going to add to my vegetable quiche mixture. We've got the green onions, which I'm going to chop up about a cup, and I'm going to add those as a garnish after everything's done. Got the butter here for sauteing purposes. I noticed in the recipe I didn't write down an amount, so I'm just going to go with 2 tablespoons. Here we have a whole shallot. I hadn't peeled it and chopped it yet. Excuse me. But there it is, peeled and chopped right there. Going to do the same thing. And then I'm going to saute that with the garlic. About 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. Plain goat cheese, I've eaten this in Europe. It's good on crackers. Never used it for baking, so, we'll see. Of course, we got the Monterey Jack cheese. And these 2 bowls, they're equally measured out. I'm not going to use all of the ingredients, obviously, for this pie because it's way too many ingredients. And I don't need a lot of pie. Maybe I'll bake one and give it to a friend. I don't know. But here's the mixture of vegetables. Now this has been sitting in the freezer for a couple of days, mixing and marinating, getting together. I'm gonna add a couple things to it as we put it into the pie itself. And then we're gonna bake it at 375 degrees for about 50 to 55 minutes and see how it turns out. So I finished dicing up the rest of the shallots and I chopped up the green onion. Getting ready to mix the feta cheese in with my vegetable mixture, and I'm sauteing my shallots and garlic as we speak. Got the oven preheated at 375, and once this browns up real nice, we'll put everything together, toss it in a couple pie pans, and see what happens. So it seems we have a flag on the play. When I went to open the pie dish crusts, I found out that they're supposed to be baked before I put the pie together. So, no harm, no foul. I took the shallots and the garlic off the burner. They're browning nice and neat off the heat anyway. Nothing else has been tampered with, so I'm just going to let the oven heat up to 400 degrees now. Put the pie crust in for about 5 to 7 minutes, and then commence with my project. Moving right along, as you'll see, the feta started to melt a little bit, which I was looking forward to, because it made it a lot easier to blend it in with the vegetable mixture. I also put in the freshly sauteed shallots and garlic. Just waiting on those pie crusts getting brown, and then we'll put everything together and see what we come up with. So here we have our pie crust. I had them at 400 degrees for about 8-9 minutes. I don't want to get them cooked, like fully cooked. I just wanted to get them firmed up a little bit. Now what I've done is I've put a layer of cheese on the bottom of the pie. This is a trick that a chef friend of mine named Dan had taught me. And it's just, I guess, to have another layer of cheese in this. You can never have too much cheese, right? Next we're going to fill the pie shells and put them in the oven for about 50 to 55 minutes. Okay, we're almost there. So here we have pie crust filled and topped off. So we're going to top off this other pie shell with some cheese, pop them in the oven. The only thing we have left are our green onions. And like I said, we're going to use those for garnish at the end of our project. See you soon. So if you've seen any of my other videos, excuse me, you know that I don't like a mess when I get done cooking, especially a project like this that's taken a couple days. So after I prepared everything, the next thing I do is make sure I clean. So cleaning as you go around, pick up after yourself as you go around. All that's left is for me to put the pies in the oven, bake them for about an hour, throw on the garnish of the green onions, and I'm done. So I'll see you in about an hour when I bring you the finished product. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Chip's Cabinet, where we take what we have and see what we can do with it. If you have any comments, suggestions, please leave them below and I will respond. Have a good day. So as I'm watching the pies cook, they look pretty good. I'm still about half an hour away from when they should be done, but a thought just crossed my mind. I think I shorted this recipe on eggs. So we'll find out how that affects the recipe. It might have something to do with the consistency of the pie itself. I don't know. Curious, wondering, and concerned. I will let you know. And here we have our finished project. I'm just going to add this little bit of garnish. About a spoonful to start with. Some green onion just on top. Spread it around a little bit. Got more back here. And there you have it, Mediterranean quiche, vegetarian style. Hope you enjoy. Again, if you have any comments, questions, please leave them below and I will respond. Thank you for joining me for another edition of Chip's Cabinet, where we take what we have and see what we can do with it. Have a good day.